excited for this live audience version of Local Motives, where we get to understand why our neighbors, interesting people, do what they do. And Drew is someone I just got introduced to a couple of months ago because he just moved back into the area and grew up in Chadsford, was away for 30 years doing very interesting things, which we're gonna unpack. And I'm here with my co-host, Sue Olivio, who actually helped me conceive to even do this, I think, like 3 years ago. So we're finally doing it, and we're grateful to anyone who's listening along to the show. I'm going to dive right in, Drew, because we had a chance to kind of get to know a little bit about you and your family. And clearly, some people that are going to watch this are already going to know you guys and be fans and friends and family because you have so many of them in the area, right? Your dad was a businessman, well-respected, very involved. Franz Rudolph Wiedemann, your wife, your mom, Alice, who's here, very involved in the community as well. I got a chance to meet a couple of years ago at Vicky Manning's house. So you tell us about just go right back to the beginning, the Unionville, Chadsford roots where it all began, your childhood here.
Right. So I was born in Texas, and then when I was about 4, I don't have much memory of it. About 4, my family, mom and dad moved us up here with my sister. So I went straight through kindergarten through 12th grade at Unionville. So all my childhood memories are here, and it's interesting. And then the day after I graduated high school, I left.
You pieced out, man. You were ready to go. Like you told me earlier, you're like you couldn't wait to try something new.
Right. Yeah. It was like, I mean, I love the area. 30 years later, you come back and you realize all the things that you took for granted from an area that you lived in. I mean, first and foremost, it's just such a beautiful area. Chester County is just like, I honestly think of all the places I've lived, all the places I've been, there's places that are totally beautiful, but I mean, I think year round, this area is just fantastic. And I don't want to get any colder than here.
Did you start I hear you. Did you start the photography interest like back then at Unionville High, taking good pictures of the area then?
You know what? I didn't, but oddly enough, the how I got the spark of photography was actually through Jimmy John's. I was friends with the owner of it, his son. We went through school for a couple of years together and played drums together and baseball at BYC, and they had a dark room, and I remember I would go hang at his house. They also had a pool. That was a big draw. So, I would hang out their house, and then I would always sneak into that dark room, and I didn't quite understand it. I took a photo class at Unionville, but I didn't really do much with it. I was more about painting at that point, painting and drawing, and I think I was the first double art major as a senior at Unionville, which just for me was, there was a great teacher, Mr. Lee, and everybody loved him and everything. But I just started doing that, and then I took a summer and went up to New York and studied design at Parsons School of Design and fell in love with New York. When I graduated, took a gap year and went up to New York, and you take a foundation year there. And that's just like all the classical stuff, 2D, 3D. You say that now and it's all computer stuff, but it's, life drawing, sculpture. You take that for the first year, then you declare your major. And my poor parents, who had never really heard me talk about photography before, came straight in. And, my sophomore year, I was like, I'm going to major in photography. So that was a surprise to them. But it worked out great. I did photography there. I immediately started working. I started working even before my first photography class. I met 2 photographers, started sweeping their studio, and still good friends with them both. And it's like I just ran right into it. And And then after my sophomore year, I was working so much that I actually dropped out, which was another great thing for my parents to have to deal with. But
it ends well, right?
Yeah,
as far as I know.
I mean,
wait, are you living with your mom?
No.
Did you move back?
We did that for a month when we came back from New York.
I did too, man. It's, you know what? I'm trying to get them to move with me. I'm like, I like this intergenerational.
Well, you know what it is? It's 12 miles away. Is like perfect, and I love being with her. But you know, she's busier than I am. So, but anyhow, so after that, it was I went to Greece and I studied with a photographer that actually Vicki Manning and my mom told me about, who teaches the Aegean Center, or the director of the Aegean Center for the Fine Arts. And I went and stayed with him for 6 months, and just that really solidified everything for me. So, and then it was just.
Then you went famous. Started photographing Martin's. I mean,
well,
I'm trying to get some of your photography up on the screen. To jump way ahead, he's had a chance in a career of photographing. For me, actually, impressively, are some of the brands, like the corporate brands, you know, that you photograph too, because I know how much goes into that. Yeah, most people are going to get excited by the big names. I mean, I was a fan of the show about the mole women, and you did the cast
about the mole women.
With
Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah, Kimmy Schmidt. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that was awesome.
That's how I knew. I saw it on your site. I was like, we got to get this guy in.
Yeah. So no, I've been really lucky. Like, so for years, I went through different things. I assisted other photographers. I worked with Annie Leibovitz. I worked with some of the biggest
Who's
people.
that? I'm scared.
So I knew these kind of like huge, massive productions and everything. And then it really, I started with mostly shooting musicians, but I was always a commercial photographer. But my love was always like the creative people.
Sure.
So I'm gonna say it was, I don't know, about 6 or 7 years ago, I got tapped to, what started me off is I got tapped to photograph portraits for the Tribeca Film Festival. And that really jump-started everything for that, because it's a hard, celebrity stuff is a hard thing to get into. And, but once you get in there, it starts.
Trust builds quick. Yeah.
So what was that connection though? Like, how were you tapped for that?
Actually, well, it's kind of funny. That actually comes back from when we were in San Francisco. My wife Melissa was a wedding photographer, and she photographed a wedding and became friends with them through the years for this woman who ran Deadline magazine, and that's sort of an industry insider magazine in Hollywood. And ends up that we both photographed another friend's wedding, and she showed up there, and we kind of reconnected. And then she called me really to fill in for somebody that was behaving badly. So it was a real fast thing. It was just like, yep, I can do it. I'm there. Let's go. And that was 4 straight days of celebrity portraits, and I was getting 2 or 3 looks per, per celebrity or producer or director. And then after that, I just started getting hired, because that in 4 days I had a decent portfolio. And it was great. I mean, it's a little nerve-wracking. And to be completely honest, celebrity stuff looks great. It's awesome. It's not the most interesting thing to me, but it's amazing marketing. People love seeing it.
Tear sheets look nice.
The tear sheets look great. You get to talk, but I've always been drawn more to artists, creative types, or just unknown people for my own work.
So how are you going to satisfy that having moved back to the area?
Well, there's plenty of characters in this town.
So, starting to shoot?
Yeah. I have been. I still have my New York, and I kind of have clients all over the place, but I have a really good client out in York, Pennsylvania, and so they keep me in with, good with commercial stuff. I do a lot of pharma, so Philly, you know, from Philly up to New York, all through New Jersey, that's the big business. So I get to do a lot of that. It slowed down a lot because of the pandemic. We were at a real fast pace. Like everything was a convention. Everything was, you know, I was traveling literally all over the world with finance and pharma clients and tech clients, and like it just slammed stop.
Is that what made you move home?
You know, I did 30 years in cities, and my wife and I would always come home. You know, I would try and come home at least once a month and see mom and dad, and then mom, and it was always great. Like I was telling you, I always hit the Amish market, and like I just
a junction sponsor, by the way. Yeah. Everybody hit the Amish market.
So I used to just come down and I would visit them, and I'd be like, okay, I'm driving up, and I would get a whole bunch of stuff put in the cooler.
Trunk.
Yeah.
Like calculated the size of all the like.
Somehow I had it down. Yeah, and then I would like take pictures of it and send it to all my friends up in New York, and they knew they were going to eat well for the next month. So, nice. But it was that, and then also it was, you know, it's good to be around your parents. It's good to have. It was really hard in New York during the pandemic.
Well, it sounds like
we were in the center of it.
Yeah. Well, and it sounds like you had, you know, just kind of like that you know, you look at this area, you know, like especially this time of year, fall, winter, you start getting the snow, and just the scenery around here is like a perfect childhood. You know, you're running through, you know, the country, and that's why I moved here.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, and it was almost too ideal a childhood here. You know, I mean, it was like, so I was anxious to see what else was out there, and but like coming back, it's beautiful. Like it had everything that we needed. You know, it's closer to our family. You know, my family, to my mom. She's busier than me, but you know, it's nice to be close by. I have friends here that I've reconnected with, and you know, the food. There's good food here.
Some of them are in the house.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, which is actually that group over there really welcomed me back. They were the only people I told when I moved back.
Snuck in at night.
Your
daughter. Where's the first few places you took your daughter? Like once you're like, all right, you unpack, where are you gonna take her?
It was tough back then because, you know, nobody was vaccinated.
It's all closed.
And everything was closed. But, you know, really like going to like KBC, Kennett Brewing Company, that was kind of like a great thing because everybody was outside. I mean, we went there in January. You know, it was like a mild night.
Everybody was outside in January.
Yeah, exactly.
There was nowhere else to be.
And you know what? That was an amazing thing, and I thought that was awesome. It was like things that we wouldn't think that we would have ever done before. Like, I can't sit outside in January. Now it's like, okay, everybody bundle up, let's go. But you know, it was great going there. Obviously, you know, I was telling you earlier that, you know, leaving New York, you kind of give up pizza. I lived in San Francisco, kind of gave up burritos. But I gained cheesesteaks here. And my daughter loves, like, she's my food ride or die. So she just loves cheesesteaks, so we got her in on that. But like the food's great.
I'm gonna feed you some new places you don't know about that are during the pandemic, when I just moved here and I was like, where are you gonna get cheesesteak? Because I, like you, I'm very fond of these things. And I live in Philly, and I got all these weird answers. Like, oh, you gotta go to Philly. I lived in Key West and found a good cheesesteak. There's gonna be, someone has to have a good one. Ate through them all.
Yeah.
There's so many good cheesesteaks out here. Out your way, Pembroke Station will surprise you. You ever been there?
Have not been.
Looks kind of like a snack shop that sells like liquor drinks, like slushies, but they make the best cheesesteak. I would hold it up against Delco. Giorgiano's has a good cheesesteak. I actually rank it pretty good.
Yeah.
And there's a place in Wilmington, but we'll eat some cheesesteaks.
Well, when I grew up here, there was a place on 202 called Pizza Man, and I started off as like a delivery guy there, and that's actually how I got my first dog. It was a tip. You know, like somebody gave me a dog.
And you took it.
And I took it. And
that's the gift thing.
Yeah. And she lived 16 years, man. She was my ace.
Wait, did you know the customer?
A long time ago, there was a motorcycle gang down at 322 and Route 1. And I used to always have to deliver to them, and they never did.
It was a hot dog. It was a stolen dog.
Yeah, well, no.
They probably had to get rid of the dog.
But I remember I was like,
they tried to steal my neighbor's dog.
Yeah.
I'm serious. There was dog stealing was a thing, and actually farm equipment. The Johnson gangs, all they did was steal farm equipment. Right? The new guys are not. They're not that brave. They're taking dogs. But
no. It was actually I knew both the dogs, and they were most ferocious dogs. And it was, you know, and of course I'm driving.
Wait, did you have to take care of it? Did your mom? You took the dog home.
Yeah, I took the dog home, and I was like, and then.
What was the dog's name?
I'm excited to hear about musicians. Can we get back to the celebrity talk?
No. This could be a 3-hour. This could be like a Joe Rogan. I have no idea. He got tipped the dog. And kept the dog.
Well, actually, what I did is I just took the dog because I thought it was a rat. It was not supposed to live. It was this little tiny thing. And I was like, is that a dog? And the guy's like, yeah, we're waiting for it to die. So I said, can I take it? And he's like, I don't care what you do.
Wait,
so
16 years?
16 years. Got her at 4 weeks old. And
the
vet even said, like, don't get attached to it. And I've never been more attached to it.
What was the dog's name?
Dink. Because I thought it was going to be huge. So much like the rest of my life, the joke's on me. Because I thought it'd be really cool to have this huge dog named Dink. And then it was just kind of a small dog. And so it sort of fit.
In San Francisco, they were trying to pull you into some different clubs with that Dink dog.
Yeah.
I was in the Bay Area a little while.
But yeah,
so. All right, back to the music. Fire away. What do you want to know?
Well, I mean, we didn't really touch on it. And it sounds like that was your real passion was to photograph creatives and musicians, and we talked about it a little bit.
Musicians are like they're the best because they either have this extraordinary ego or they're compensating for having no ego. So either way, most of the time you're going to get something really, really good out of them. And between my freshman and sophomore year at Parsons, I lived down at University of Delaware. I subleased a place for the summer, and I worked at Delaware Park, and I was parking cars. And from there, I literally met one of my very best friends. We started our first band together, and then kind of out of that band has grown this other band. I went back to New York. They did about as good as you can do without really making it. And they were awesome. But that whole band, they're all still musicians. They're all still playing. One is the drummer for the Julie Ruin, which is Kathleen Hanna's band from Bikini Kill. One is in this band, the Toilet Boys, who's toured with Kiss, and, Red Hot Chili Peppers, even Bob Dylan. They've gone all around the world. They got arrested in England. You know, nice. They lit a club on fire because they would blow flames and everything. And so they were all about like New York punk image. And so really from that group, I just always had access to them. Never made a penny off of any of them. So, but they really, I had access to them. I would always see them. I would go to every show that I could. I would photograph them. We were making videos back in the day, when you were like cutting from VHS to VHS. And, it was a total DIY, very punk, thing. And they're all really successful. And one's still touring and still lives in Wilmington, but the rest are kind of scattered between San Francisco, New York. And you're always going to get something good from musicians. And then I just love music, and I was playing music, but I was a better photographer than I was a musician. So when I moved to San Francisco, I was like, no more music. I'm just going to, I play for enjoyment for myself now, but I was like, I'm a better photographer. So let's just do that. And so I've gotten to photograph wonderful bands, photograph Bruce Springsteen, Billy Idol, Joan Jett, you know, like some of the older, bigger names, Pete Townsend from The Who, Roger Daltrey, the keyboarders from MGMT. And so I've gotten to have, you know, great access to that. I don't love shooting live concerts, but I love concerts. So I get to do both. And then that usually leads to like, okay, I get to do an album cover. I get to do, you know, I get to do press pack photos for them or, you know, whoever.
Yeah, I was going to ask where those photographs end up. Like, where do we see that?
Well, they go all over the place. I just did probably my all-time favorite portrait is from the lead singer of this band, Psychic TV, that was originally in Throbbing Gristle, older, like literally there, like when Brian Jones died from the Rolling Stones. Came from England, met them again through these Delaware connections because I photographed one band and another band, and then you end up there. And Genesis is this amazing artist and creative person that is just otherworldly, and they just passed away. But I had done a portrait of her that ended up being on her autobiography. It's been all over the world. The New Yorker ran it. So when you do that, it sort of takes on its life, you know. And then it's been all over the world. She had a amazing solo show in Mexico City, and they printed it like 40 feet high, and just a really tremendous, interesting person. So it goes around there, and I've shot album covers for them. I've shot a music video for them, like a short one for them.
Have you ever been shocked to find your photographs?
I find them all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's a whole different story. IP, intellectual property, and copyright. I don't sweat bands that much because I want to support them. And but yeah, there was one time I was on eBay in San Francisco, and I was looking. I'd shot an album for this all-girl band. They were teens called the Donnas, and of course, the record label didn't even give me an album. So I was like, I shot the album cover. But I was like, I wanted to find it on eBay. And like somebody had taken the image, they got the album cover, they scanned it, they made it into keychains, t-shirts, you know, like knickknacks. And I actually reached out to the person, they totally freaked out. And I was like, well, why don't you just send me some? I'm not here to like sweat some guy in New Jersey who's like in his basement, like making buttons. I'm like, what am I going to get out of that? But that does, yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's like, yeah, I guess I'll give it to you. I was like, look, I'm not worried about it. But I've had to go to the mat more and more with copyright stuff lately. It's just trickier and trickier. So corporations just are asking for more and more rights to do things.
I'm showing. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm showing some of your imagery on the overlay. It's like a crude way to do it, but I showed Genesis when that came out. And like, here's another one of your faves, right? So
yeah.
What are we looking at here?
This is a guy, you know, from San Francisco. Melissa and I were big into like the rockabilly and car culture thing in San Francisco and NorCal, and so a friend of mine started a magazine based on that called Garage Magazine, and it got bought by Jesse James from Orange County Choppers or whatever. Anyhow, so this was like a fashion story we did in New York, and we got lowriders. So this was called Date Night, and the guy on the left was one of the lowriders' younger brothers. And I said, you know, like, you know, she's a model on the right, but I've stayed in touch with him to this day, and that's a pretty old picture. But that was like a full double truck, like right in the magazine, and it was really, really fun. And he's this amazing kid. Well, he's not a kid now; he has a kid. But he made all his own clothes. He was like an 8-bit DJ. So he's like this young kid who's just doing crazy things, but he was big on like a different world and stuff. But he would make all these. He loved The Simpsons. He would, he was just painting everything. So he had this total '80s thing in the early 2000s, and just a really interesting, cool guy.
Very cool.
So, what's that?
I can pull up another one if you want to talk to another piece.
Well, I think. I mean, these are just sort of random ones that I had. The one that's on the second row, right below that one, that's Karina. That's really just one of my all-time favorite pictures. She was just this beautiful young girl, and this is something that was set up that was, was just a real person. So I photographed her, and this is when I started going from like really big productions after having worked with like Annie Leibovitz and big ad photographers and stuff. And I was, I was so used to shooting with so much stuff that I was never actually shooting. So I was like, okay, I want to learn how to do all this myself. So there's no lights, it's just available light. It's like I tested and I did everything. So now I'm able to really kind of shoot anything that's thrown in front of me, from big, huge jobs to just smaller little portraits, intimate portraits. And, I just love the look on her face. And, she's just such an unbelievable beauty. So.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
What if local people want to get a session with you? Is that possible?
I'm always up for that.
Are you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm too busy for us?
No.
Christmas cards are coming.
And
Lisa, I thought you was going to be one of the only ones.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I'm not quite the Christmas card guy.
I'm kidding.
But, but I mean, I do lots of.
The Kardashians go all out on their Christmas cards.
Yes,
you can't
they
play
do.
with Christmas cards anymore.
Well, that's like
there's
Vogue
one-
level photo shoots.
That's all right. Depends how much you want to spend.
I still can do that. Yeah, that's what I tell everybody. You can shoot something for $50, $500, $5,000, $50,000 bucks. I've done them all. So, there's a lot of different ways to shoot it, and that's the way what I love about photography is really it's you can do it a lot of different ways. And probably, for my larger clients, they love the celebrity stuff. When I started doing the celebrity stuff, my smaller clients, I don't know if this is true, but I think they got a little intimidated by it. And they're like, oh, we can't afford you. I mean, I've been told that, oh, we can't afford you. I'm like, it's what I do. So I don't expect you to be, Olivia Wilde or, a celebrity. So it's what I love doing. So I love to shoot. So
when you do the film festivals, are you shooting at the red carpet, or like for somebody like me who doesn't understand the role?
Well, with the film festival and with that one in particular, no, I didn't do the red carpet. I've done exactly one red carpet, and that's not anything I need to do again. It's you don't get good photographs. And it's a very special, very weird breed of person that does red carpet stuff. I mean, they all have like, we call them lion tamers, like the pants with the thing.
Hold up.
Like, no, like good cutoff shorts with the pockets on the side, cargo shorts, yeah. And, they always have some weird old T-shirt from like White Snake or something. I mean, it's like, and they all generally tend to be balding a little bit, and with a
curly on the sides,
long plumage.
See, this is funny because it's like a whole subculture within. I would never.
Yeah, and it's like, and they're nice guys, but they run from one event right to the next, and they are selling their stuff for $5.
People don't understand the ability to specialize in photography. I know when I was involved with photographers a lot, mostly it's talent on the other side of the camera, but one time my agent was like, you need to go to a photographer who really does like hands. It'll make the biggest difference for that part of your career. And I was like, really? And I talked to another model who was a big time hand model in New York, and he's like, yeah, here's the guy you go to. It's well worth the money.
It's the same thing with headshots. It's the same thing with, any modeling thing. Like I worked a lot in fashion, But I didn't, you know, it's not really my focus. You know, I don't love fashion the way people that aren't fashion photographers love it.
What are you excited about shooting next?
Well, right now I have a kind of a fine art series.
There's only one answer to this. And it's
Lisa!
Bondage.
Yes. Yeah,
What
well,
the-
that, I'm very excited.
We went
about
through
that.
this before the show.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I cleared my schedule.
True.
I've been sitting here for 6 weeks waiting for Lisa to get
Yeah, we only care about that. Just kidding. What is
No,
it? I wanna
she's
hear it.
no. So I have a fine art series that I literally started in Greece, and like the film and developing and everything, I never quite got it quite right. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, with digital stuff, I was able to kind of start getting what I wanted out of it. So I haven't really shown too much of that, but it's abstracts and trees and natures, and it's kind of almost I use the Greek word for fractal, which is going to be this series, and then there'll be a series on sort of trees. It's all elemental, you know, like there'll be rocks, there'll be waters, the water series. So it's taken me 25, 27 years, so I'm not in a rush, but I'm just about to put that one out.
So have you've over 25 years you've been working on that, or it's been up here that long?
Well, I wasn't getting what was up here until about 4 years ago, and then it's the kind of thing I can only shoot in the winter. So I only love summer, and I like light and everything. So winter is very tough for me. On the summer solstice, I just always get winter's coming. You know, I know it right then and there on June 22nd or whatever it is. But that helps me get through winter. So that's almost completed. And I'm just trying to figure out now how big I can make these. So hopefully that'll be a fine art show. I was planning on doing a preview last spring of it, and then the pandemic hit at my studio in New York. I was just going to sort of soft open it to get some feedback, but I've kept it really kind of close to my chest. So that's what I'm working on. But then, you know, I'm staying busy with commercial jobs. I just had this great jazz band. About 5 years ago, I started shooting jazz musicians.
So that just took.
Yeah, that just took.
Cool.
Well, I became really good friends with this guy in a dad group. We had kids about the same time. And there were like 6 of us in this dad group, and it ended up becoming like 300 dads in New York. And at that point, I was kind of like, I pulled back. But I still have this great friend, and he just always would ask me for stuff. And then that turned into things. So I'm shooting this band with this keyboardist, Henry Hay, who was David Bowie's musical director. He, for the last play that he did, he worked on the album, I think it was Black Star, before he passed away. And so he just called me earlier today and just said, hey, can you come up to New York? I have a new project, need pictures. So I've been photographing him for a while. So I just keep doing that. Then High Reaper down out of Philly, Wilmington, which is this heavy metal band, like just very 70s, Deep Purple, and they tour all through Europe, and they're big in Europe, of course, and but they've been doing more U.S. stuff, so I'm going to be photographing them soon as well. So there's things that are ramping up, and then I'm just trying to get out more and more and let people know I'm here, and you know, start dipping my toe into Philly. Most of my clients, being based out in New York, my clients were all over. So
And now you're sitting right off Cypress Street in Kennett Square, man.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, and I love it.
That's
I mean, it's
HQ?
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I got myself a drone when I was bored in November.
Really?
Took it out to the Superfund site, you know, so I started shooting drone stuff, and you know, it's all little tools, and you know, mostly photography. But in the last 10 years, I would say video is half my business now. So, and again, musicians are great to do videos with because they're creative, they act, they do great things. So, you know, I stay busy. You know, I mean, I always want to be busier, but when I first moved here, nobody was meeting new people, you know.
Yeah, it was a weird time.
And I didn't really know the Philly market. But I've shot down here a bunch of times, and I like Philly. I really did not like Philly growing up. And that was probably just my own prejudices.
It's changed a lot, though.
It's changed a lot.
A huge amount.
And I shot a job down there, and it was like for tax executives or something. And I had like the best time. The client was awesome. You know, the work, like we did great work, but it was, you know, tax executives. And, you know,
what are you trying to say, man?
I mean, they were the rock stars of the tax executives, but yeah. But you know, but like I got to go around Philly, and it was awesome. I went to like great restaurants, and I was like, oh, this is a lot different than when I was like just going down to South Street, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like around here we have so many amazing world-class artists.
Oh yeah.
Fine artists, and I mean. I've often thought for the magazine, and we've talked about it, but doing a cover story of Bob Jackson, but it would be so
He just
cool.
texted me right before I got here.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. So
for the record, I will have Bob Jackson on the cover when he comes in here and paints one of his.
No, he will. Oh, he will.
On a wall. That's
awesome.
the deal. Like,
but for you, like, I just think it would be really cool to see Bob through your lens, like in his
you guys are buds?
Yeah, like, well, and it's funny, like, and this is one of those points where you need to listen to your mother when she tells you something. So we moved here, you know, in August, and like I said, it was a weird time, and we were all a little PTSD after, like I said, it was rough in Williamsburg. But you know, Mom goes, "Oh, that's Bob Jackson singing." I actually have a piece of his when he first started painting. My parents gave it to me, and it's one of my, I don't cherish a whole lot of possessions, but like that's one of my cherished possessions. But anyhow, Mom goes, "Oh, that's Bob Jackson singing." I was like, "Oh, that's great." She's like, "You should go see him." And I was like, in my mind, and I don't know where this came from, I thought he was like 90. And I was like, who wants to see, what 90-year-old wants to see like somebody who just came from the epicenter of the pandemic? You know, and I was like, so that was weird. But then
turns out Bob's not 90.
He's not even close to 90, you know? So, and he's awesome. It's great. And I was walking my dog with Carol's my walking buddy. I was walking him and I saw him outside of Tallulah's table.
Always.
He's always there. And I was like, hey, I was like, Bob, I was like, I'm Alice Wiedemann's son and everything. So we'll go to like Braylock on Fridays and like grab a burger and a beer. And,
really
you know,
cool.
Yeah, it's like, I'm big on the power lunch. I love that. Like, you know, if you're freelance, being able to have like a lunch, like with somebody else creative or whatever, it's like, it's so satisfying.
We're Bob
and
and
he's
hit
so
by
nice.
me. Every time I drop my kids at school, I see him outside of Tallulah's.
Yeah.
We have a funny quip about nothing art related, and it's awesome. But
yeah, he's super nice, and we just, you know, I think we've been out like 3 times now. And he just texted me. He's like, when are we gonna get lunch again? And I was like, it's great. And of course, my daughter is like, oh my God, you're friends with Bob Jackson? He is such a famous artist. And I was like, yeah, he is. He's amazing. He's awesome. She's like, I can't believe my dad's hanging out with Bob Jackson. And I'm like, well, okay. You know, your dad dabbles in the arts too.
yeah, you might be cool.
How old's your daughter?
She's 11 now. So, and she loves it here. She's over at Kent Middle School. She just, you know, when we moved here, we needed to have good food, like good culture, which this has, and then we needed to be close to roller derby for her.
Oh,
She
nice.
does roller derby up in New York, so now she's part of the Philly cheesecake pack. So
I think Callan had that at one point too. In Thorndale.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have.
There's one in Delaware. There's one up in Downingtown, I believe,
That's
but nobody has junior programs except Philadelphia. So she just started that this fall down here. So that's it's the only thing that gets us up at
That's great to photograph.
8 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I love photographing. And I've done portraits of them for the Gotham Derby. It's like I just love shooting people, and I love doing, photography for people that may not get really good photography. I like being part of the community, so that's a big one.
There's a community magazine around here that likes photography with people.
Apparently,
Yeah, just in case we ever want to do that. No, it's so fun. I'm with you. I mean, really, seriously, like the whole magazine thing, it's just a passport to like invite yourself to people's homes and like learn their story. And it's so fun. The photography makes it.
Yeah, and you guys do a much better job than I. For magazines, for local magazines, like the photography's good, the design's good, it's clean, it's nice, and most things aren't like that. And I don't even know what happened to the daily local news. I think it comes out like
it's tough. It's a tough industry. It's changed.
It's going right.
It's changed rapidly, and it's hard. And the business, part of it figured it out, and I love it. I think it's a great way. But to me, sitting at Junction Cafe, the reason why we did this is it's great to read about somebody. And a lot of people around here, they're kind of private. And you move out here because you don't necessarily want to put your whole story out online. And, a lot of people aren't even into social media as much as like Williamsburg, might be. And so, I love it. It's so fun to put it in Google fashion print. But the cafe was a place for us to say, hey, let's actually connect in person around some of these, injuries. Like part of my goal now is to twist your arm and do the soft opening on your fractals. Let's do it here. You know what I mean? And smaller is sometimes.
Well, it's fun to have a capsule that's local.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's amazing. Like I when I got here, my mom handed me, Chatsworth Junction. She's like, oh, this is really nice, and you should reach out. And then, Andrea over there, I think it's the one who finally connected us. And, and then it just kind of steamrolls from there. But it's a nice magazine, and there are not many magazines at all anymore, so that's kind of a big deal. So, and there is wonderful people here.
It's a whole team, by the way, too.
Yeah.
I just think of like all the people, like Nate Heckenberger, the photographer who shoots a lot of it. He's just a family friend. He's the most humble dude. He's super talented. He actually shoots for the Daily Local. He does their sports coverage. Like he's probably out at the football game right now. Like he's super low key. And then we got Jim Graham. I mean, there's so many talented people in this area, and that's part of the fun of it. And actually, the pandemic drew a bunch back. Like I think of how many people I've met and the stories I've heard about for over a year now. I mean, last August, Garrett and Neff came back for a while with, out of New York. And people are commuting to New York from here. I've met that. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
It's like in New York, it's like to go 3 miles is 45 minutes, so, but now when I get a job to go up to New York and to go shoot this band, it's nothing.
It's 2 hours
there. Yeah. It's 2 hours. That is a great thing about here. If you're 30 miles away from something, it takes you 30 minutes to get there.
For sure.
It's amazing. And then you just pull up and you park.
Yeah. I get it.
These are all things like after San Francisco and New York that I'm not still blows my mind. It's like, oh, I could just go to a hardware store and park.
Listen, we're glad to have you. I mean, I'm so glad you reached out. You feel like a brother or an uncle or someone that, And it's funny, again, working with photographers. Like if I would have met you and it'd be like, what's that guy do? I'd be like, he's a photographer. Yeah. I could tell. You fit the part. You're super talented. I can't believe you're doing some other exhibit stuff. We'd be honored to hang some pieces here. Yeah. Give the neighbors a chance to come meet you.
I mean, don't hold your breath. It's 27 years in the making. So
yeah, but listen, this is your
but it's getting there. You got to birth these things at some point.
The Farmer's
Almanac. It's not stress here, though. This is where you can just experiment.
The Farmer's Almanac is calling for a doozy of a dink of a winner that is going to have you seriously shooting every snowbank. And I can't wait to see what comes out.
If that's your thing.
Yeah, last year. No, it's like I shoot all the time. It's weird because it was with the pandemic and moving down here, it's like there was so many changes. You know, you're concerned about your family, you're concerned about your daughter who's virtual school, and you know, and she's super social, and you know, she left all her friends and everything that she knew. And we loved the school up there, and we had a real community there. And it's like, but to come down here, it's like, you know, immediately we have the open space. I mean, we went from a 750 square foot apartment to, you know, a 3-floor twin.
Yeah.
And
1,600 square feet.
Yeah, 18, yeah, or something like that. And it's like, it's great because my office is up on the 3rd floor. You know, all the bedrooms are on the 2nd floor. All the living space is down on the 3rd floor. The 3 of us can all be on different floors. It's an amazing thing, you know, especially after like a couple months of just staring at each other. You know,
dude, people here have their own wings.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean that's the thing. I mean, for us, it's like the hardest thing is like, well, we don't need that much space. You know,
you're
like
used
coming
to so
from
much less.
So much less, and then it's like the harder part is like, you know, I don't really want, nor do I want to fill a 7,000 square foot house. You know, I mean, it's like we've done a good job of going from 7 to 1,800 and filling it. So, you know, but yeah, it's great.
It's funny because the experience of being in the city versus out here in the countryside is so different. Because I mean, we would go on hikes still on Ring Road, like where Andy Wyeth would paint.
Sure.
Yeah. You know, and you have this world-class view that we could just in open air.
Well, and just going down, like tubing down the Brandywine.
Yeah.
Like that's like amazing. And then, you know, we've had some friends come down and visit us down here, and, you know, people are just, their jaws drop. You know, it's like, Kenny, you have to deal a little bit with the mushroom smell, but I'm used to that from going to Unionville, you know.
Yeah.
But people say, why does it stink here?
Well, I have to remind people that stay with us, like there's if you're here for a couple days, there's going to be a time.
When they turn the door, you're going to
have it's like Chatsford.
No, Chatsford, I never smelled it, but it was.
Wind blows. I mean, you could smell it in Westchester even.
Yeah.
There was this strange.
But it's not a bad smell. Like my
daughter,
money. Like that's what they say. You know, it's all money, man.
It's not my money.
So like, and that's. So I'm just like, I'm excited to be back. But yeah, there's tons of artists, and of course, you know, thinking I was a punk and everything, like it.
You
really
are
big, well, yeah, I don't know about
punk
that. That's what you know, my sciatic.
Yeah, it's killing all of us.
Slow down the
like I resisted that. And photography isn't a big market here for fine art stuff. It's not non-existent, but you know, we're known for the Wyeth. I mean, Carolyn Wyeth wrote my recommendation letters to art school. So, and it's like I grew up with that. My mom worked at the Conservancy and at Somerville Manning, and you know, so it's I've always known it, but of course I was like pop art, Andy Warhol, punks, Basquiat, you know, like that's what I
feel like in some way, because this really does have Chatsford, this Kennett. There's such a creative vein here. I grew up in Westchester. I wanted to get the heck out too as soon as I graduated, and I did.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I want to be like where the energy's at. Right. And it was awesome, you know, being in California, whatever. But coming back, I'm like, this place is rad. Like now I get it.
Yeah, and there's, I mean, even just like, you know, the musicians are a little bit different, but like going to KBC or going out, like there's live music everywhere. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's not necessarily, you know, my style of music, but like, I just love it. And like, even the musicians just, you know, at the smaller restaurants here, they're top notch. They're really good. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to like know more of that. I mean, I identified more with like Newark and Wilmington than I did with Philly when I lived here. And then, so now it's like I get to sort of check everything out again, and having things being opened up and seeing you guys like ramping back up and everything. It's like, I'm really, really excited. I feel like we've just had like a little taste of the things to come. And I'm a kind of person where I'm like, I talk to every person when I'm like walking my dog, and, you know, I'm like, hi, how are you? And then,
I'm the same way.
and Carol can attest to it. She's like, is there no one that you don't say hi to?
You have to talk.
I'm like the railroad tracks that go through. I'm like, hey,
Why do you do that?
That's just how I meet people. Yeah, I guess so. But I also.
We're the same
This
way.
is the end, man. It's locomotives. Why?
Yeah,
you care about people.
Yeah.
So much.
Why do I care about people? No, I mean I love it because there's such like a rich tapestry here, and then like I was talking to the mail-in ballot drop-off person for like 20 minutes.
You can't talk to them.
Yeah. Oh, you can. Hey, they're doing their job, man. It was shocking how many people were coming up with like 2 or 3 ballots. They're like, I'm doing it for something. I'm like,
people have like 100.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just taking anything.
No, they shut them down. But then you talk, and having a dog. Everybody loves seeing a dog.
You didn't get a dog when you went to vote.
But yeah.
Another dog?
No, I'm like a one dog at a time person, much to the chagrin of Melissa and my daughter. But I'm the one who walks it. So, but I mean, it's great. I love being back, and it like I said, it's the beauty. There's a ton of creativity here that I just wasn't. I was so focused on not being here, coming back,
couldn't enjoy it.
I get that.
And it's changed a lot.
A message for the youth.
1988 to now. You know, I mean, that's a big difference. I mean, I remember like I went to Savannah Bistro, and I was living in San Francisco at the time, and I was like, wait, this exists here? Like, there was, Dilworth Town Inn, Chad's Ford Inn, Chad's Ford Tavern. That was it when I was growing up here. And you would either maybe go to Wilmington if it was, a big thing, go to like Lebec Finn in Philly. And so it's like now it's coming back. It's like I just love going, and everybody's so actually really, really nice. Especially in Kennet. Like I've met every owner of the restaurant that I've been in.
Yeah.
Have you gone to Tyler Aiken's new place at the Hotel DuPont?
No, I haven't.
Caveat, you'll love it. I mean, that's right close by. You guys have to try that one. Yeah, he catered a party we did last summer. It's great. You'll love it. You'll think you're in anywhere. Yeah.
So I mean, it's like I'm a little bit spoiled with where I've lived with cuisine and everything, and it was like it's really no joke. Like that, I was not going to go move to. I love barbecue, but like I don't know, Oklahoma or something. I'm not to offend anybody from Oklahoma, but I've been in enough, flyover states and stuff where like Applebee's is the spot, and I have no problem with eating Applebee's, but I like really, but like.
What food item have you latched onto that we need to appreciate more than we have besides the cheesesteak?
Well, cheesesteaks are awesome. I mean, the Mexican food in Kennet is real. Pena, yeah,
that's my spot too, man.
Jam. I like Morleone as well.
Get that sandwich they make. It's like I forget the official name. The Mexican sandwich.
The torta.
Yeah.
I
think it's a dog. Yeah,
it's great. And then I also like. I mean, obviously, Filter's great for coffee, but like my kind of go-to is like Mary Pat's Provisions, which is in the marketplace.
Sure.
They have. I'm like a breakfast sandwich.
I'm going there. I'm going to go there tomorrow.
Bacon, eggs, and cheese on our.
Yeah, well, that's the New York staple, man. Like you judge everything like by that. And I had there was this place in Brooklyn that did a pastrami, egg, and cheese. It was like it was $18, but it was worth every penny. And I would say their bacon, egg, and cheese there is real. They're tied.
Yeah, really.
And I even told her that.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The baconeries and the bacon makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and they do it like a candy caramelized bacon.
That's what you got to do. I do. We had one here for a while. Brady was making. The bacon was so good that like.
The staff ate it all before it made it out.
We didn't sell any of it.
It would have never made it. If I was making it, would have never made it past me. So
not the usual cafe.
So wait, they have pastrami?
They don't have pastrami. They do it's like a candy bacon cheese.
We're all going there tomorrow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
This has been a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, we could obviously talk for a whole other hour, but we'll give people a chance to come meet you in person at some point.
Yeah,
soon and continue the conversation that way.
And then we can follow you and get to know you.
Yeah, there
you
we go. Hey, I'm around, man. You'll see me every day between 7 and 8 walking around.
Saying hi.
Saying hi to literally everybody.
7's early too. Wow.
Well,
you're a coffee guy. You wake up, you have your cup.
I am terrible at this. This is because the kid has to get on the school.
That's the thing. It's the kid's schedule. That's why I'm on.
It's like
that's why I'm at school.
Yeah, I'm just like it's tough. And Carol and I are very good walking partners because we can walk a long time without having to say anything to each other.
That's the key with a walking partner.
Yeah.
That's
and but like it's been great, and like reconnecting with friends, and you're not the same person. Hopefully you're not the same person you were in high school and everything, and reconnecting with Vicky called me the other day and invited Melissa and I to something. It was so super nice. Couldn't do it, but this is great. It's a really great area, and
speaking of Vicky, Junction sponsor at one point. I'll give a shout out to Somerville Manning Gallery. They got Breck's Mill, which was like an epic gallery. It was my favorite gallery, just because of the space, not to mention the art. Bob Jackson, she represents locally. Yeah. Vicky Vinton, a bunch of others, but she's in Greenville now. Centerville,
yeah. At the old hard castles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think it's temporary.
Wait, Somerville moved to Centerville.
Yeah.
Somerville.
Somerville moved to Centerville.
Yeah, but from the floods.
The flood was
the same floods that got Hanks and
the Brandywine River Museum.
River Museum. They got beat up there, but they're redoing it. So I think it's just a pop up. Like it's temporary for the time.
It's a good place to come through the wintertime, the holidays. I think you know what I mean. Like to me, go see a gallery show. Wintertime is a great time to do it. It's my favorite time.
They've been such great partners to the magazine. I know for me, they've helped us out with Month with an Artist.
Vicky's on the cover next month. Finally, we did
class act.
Yeah, so I'm pumped. That's a long time in the making, and I feel like she's like a Chatsworth treasure.
She is.
She is. She's awesome. And like when we moved back here and really weren't seeing anybody, and she had hunt horses, I guess, retired hunt horses, and she let like Olivia come over, and it was it was great. And I've always, and her husband John has done photography and videography for years, so it's always good to like catch up with that and everything. Vicky's been nothing but wonderful for me. And there was a time I was like running paintings back and forth between New York and Somerville for them.
Nice.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and I'm steeped in the arts.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's might as well be, right?
Right.
I mean, we can talk about crypto, but
that's where I fall out.
Yeah, exactly.
Or NFTs.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, I actually have like 24 NFTs created, but I don't know if I'm going to release them.
I have an idea for some.
Do it. That's where the money's at.
Well, yeah, but you know what? I think that's all fake. I think a lot of that's fake money. It's a little scammy. It's a little like, you have your gallery.
No, dude, it's the future.
Yeah,
look,
it is.
Decentralization. I'm not, whatever. I got a Bitcoin guy that's coming on, actually. He's a PhD in Chatsworth.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to convince anyone. He wants to teach you how to navigate Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So we got that dude coming up. There's so many exciting functions coming up. We have next, the 9th, so 2 Tuesdays, Corey Donovan, he runs Impact PHL, an impact investing firm with Richard Binswanger coming here to talk about impact investments. That is investments that have all kinds of social returns in the region as well as financial. We got a Veterans Day event here on the 11th where Craig Williams is coming in, state representative. He's going to talk with some kids, and they're going to all write notes to the veterans at the Coatesville Hospital.
It's wonderful.
There's Sue Walter. She's a food blog in Radley Run Country Club. Sue B's Kitchen. She's coming in to do a demo on teaching people how to make 3 appetizers for the holidays that they don't know how to make that are actually good. Just fun little social events. So check the schedule, and then we'll keep people posted about having you in here for the soft opening on your exhibit, or even photography.
No pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure, whatever. Seriously, the invitation's always open.
Oh, cool. I appreciate it.
It's been very generous of you to spend so much time with us.
Well, I appreciate you having me out. It's like I appreciate what you guys are doing, and it's very nice for me to get in and be able to. And it's very nice for my wife to not have to hear me talk for an hour. So.
Yeah. She's shaking her head profusely.
So yeah,
We'll take you anytime. Seriously,
great.
This has been a joy. Now listen, this is literally our first time doing this live stream. So I intended to open with a nice official opener that we had made, and we're going to close with it because I'm so proud of this. That we were able to figure out how to meet this. All right, so here it goes. So you guys, live audience, are going to see. I hope it does. All right, see you guys later.
all right, thank you.
Good night.
All right.